Hey everyone, Robert Hight, driver of the Auto Club Camaro Funny Car for John Force Racing. Coming up in another month, I'm going to be celebrating 25 years with John Force Racing. I started in June at the Topeka race, flew in there, met Bernie Federle and Austin Coyle at the airport, drove from Kansas City to Topeka with them, and I was officially part of the team, which was really a dream come true. It was like, you know, the two people that I dreamed of working for would have been John Force and Kenny Bernstein. I've always felt they had the greatest organizations, and that was where, if you were going to make it in drag racing, that's where you wanted to work. So I really felt like I had made it. And that weekend, you know, really didn't know what my job duties were going to be. You know, we had a guy on the team that he was from Canada, and he couldn't go to a match race, which was going to be the following weekend up in Canada. So they were going to have me do the clutch. So at Topeka that first weekend, it was all about me just watching and learning, you know, trying to figure out how one of these clutches worked in a nitro car. And who better to learn from than the crew he had and Austin Coyle and Bernie Federle. It was pretty cool. So, but you know what was funny is, as always, John Force qualifies #1 at that first race. And it was exciting, but at the same time, I didn't really feel like I was part of it, you know, because that's what he always did, you know. And here I am just there to learn and you know, try to get better and become a crew member. So we had a great weekend that weekend, and the next weekend we went up to, you know, London, Ontario, Canada for a match race. And now it's like, it's my job to do the clutch. And you know, there were a few bumps in the road at that match race, like always. You know, it's you just don't pick up, you know, doing the clutch in one weekend. After that match race, you know, our next race was Denver, Colorado, and honestly, I didn't know what my job was going to be. You know, the guy that had worked on the clutch before was back with us in Denver, and you know, it was like, well, what am I going to be doing? To be honest, I really didn't care if they were just going to have me wipe tires and polish wheels. I felt like I was my foot in the door at John Force Racing, and you know, however hard I wanted to work and learn, the sky's the limit. To my surprise, we get to Denver and Austin Coyle says, "You're doing the clutch this weekend," and it was like excitement and nervousness all at once. It's like, oh my God, this is for real. Last weekend was just a match race, and it went well, but now, you know, we're in a points battle, and you know, at the time without Hoffman. So I was nervous. We went out, we won that race, and coolest weekend really for me in drag racing is, you know, I had done the clutch for the first time at a national event. We won the race, and John Force gives me the trophy, and I still have it to this day. So, you know, besides my first win in Houston, that's probably, you know, the most special trophy to me is, you know, getting to win my first race as a real crew member. Doing the clutch on a nitro car is, you know, it's kind of the heart of everything that goes on. You know, when you see a car smoke the tires, it's usually the clutch setup was wrong. And, you know, the clutch has to go with the power, and that obviously is the crew chiefs. But the clutch is really, it's all about consistency. The guy doing it the same every single time. And it was just the coolest weekend, getting to do the clutch and get my first trophy. So I'll never forget that weekend. And I think I ended up doing the clutch for 8 seasons, you know, with John, and we won the championship every year. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't because of me, it was because of the team we had together, led by Austin and Bernie, but it was Dean Antonelli, Eric Medlin was with us for a long time, we had Kevin Pointer, Kevin McCarthy. Back then we didn't have the same amount of crew guys that we do today. It was less. We didn't have to, you know, 55-minute rounds, it was a little longer. And I don't think we did quite as much between rounds back then as we do today. So it was a lot smaller crew back then. But one thing I can tell you is different today versus back then. Back then, we never looked at a weekend off, okay? If there wasn't a national event, we were somewhere match racing. And sometimes we'd be match racing on a Wednesday and in a certain city, and then somewhere else Friday and Saturday night. That's just the way it was. And honestly, looking back on it, I think that's how you keep your crew sharp. I think the driver gets better at driving, and the crew chiefs, tuning these cars to get down any sort of racetrack. But match racing was just, it was part of it back then. And John, we raced every weekend with John, and it was a blast. Never really cared if I had a weekend off. It was getting to run the race car and learn and get better. So when that next national event came, we weren't rusty. We were ready to go and win another race.